Hello, and welcome to this CUBE conversation. I'm Bob LaLiberte, Principal Analyst with theCUBE Research. Today, I'm joined by Doug Merritt, CEO of Aviatrix, and Anne Profiti, Head of Global Channels, Aviatrix. And today, we're going to discuss how Aviatrix is enabling their partners and customers with the new channel program. So, welcome, Doug and Anne.
Thank you, Bob. Very excited to be here.
Thanks, Bob.
Excellent. Well, really glad to have you on. And it's great that we're talking about channel programs because clearly, a robust channel program is vital for tech companies these days, especially those looking to scale and amplify their presence in the market. And it's really good timing on Aviatrix part as well because your solutions are really in demand in these modern IT environments. And why is that? Well, from what we see is that IT continues to distribute those applications across multiple public clouds, data centers, edge locations. And as a result of that, it creates a lot of network complexity, right? We hear that all the time. In fact, according to the research that we've done, 80% of companies today now cite that their network environment is either more or significantly more complex than it was just 2 years ago. And when we look at some of the drivers behind this complexity, what we see is it's that distributed nature of the environment, and also the multiple management tools, right? If you think about it, especially going to the clouds, you've got one for each cloud that you're using. So, and along with that, there's also a lot more data being traversing that network, and you've got a lot of modern apps that are highly dynamic. So the other takeaway from this as well, though, is that not only is it distributed and it's more complex, but it also results in an increased attack surface, which creates a lot more risk for organizations. So there's a clear need for simplified, performant, secure networking solutions to overcome that complexity and mitigate that risk. And as I mentioned earlier, this is where Aviatrix comes in, right? They've been a pioneer in the cloud network security space and have continued to innovate and grow their business. So with that said, Doug, I'm wondering if you can get us started with maybe a high-level update on Aviatrix and also give us your top goals for this new partner program.
That's a great intro, Bob. Appreciate it. Yeah, so if I go 10,000 feet just for a second, software-defined networking has been a concept that's been in vogue for, I don't know, 25 years now, going back to 2007 and 8 when Nicera and a handful of others really evangelized it for a good reason, which is networking had to evolve in a box-oriented format. There's a lot of different protocols, a lot of different capabilities and activities that happen across networking and security and secure networking. And to really power that capability in the last gen data centers, you had to have purpose-built ASICs within those data centers, and that meant dividing up something that should be integrated and seamless and cooperative into a whole series of different offerings, often from different vendors. The cloud should have been an opportunity to take those software-defined networking concepts and make sure that as we move to these new data centers, like the languaging is so important, and the cloud has done an awesome job of languaging with hyperscalers and cloud service providers, but they're world-class data centers. As we introduced a whole host of additional data centers to an existing enterprise landscape, there should have been an opportunity to take those software-defined networking constructs and make sure that no matter what the insertion point was within that cloud, you're trying to get data to the cloud, you're trying to route data around that cloud, you're trying to ensure effective egress of data, you're trying to connect different clouds together as just a few of the different use cases, that you brought the full power of integrated networking to the fold. That routing was married with NATing, was married with firewalling, was married with VPNing, and that security was wrapped intimately across that type of offering. And for whatever reason, good reasons, I'm sure, the way that the cloud landscape evolved through lift and shift and through the development that the cloud vendors pioneered within their clouds, it was much more that box metaphor. Either you took your firewall from a data center, took the software components of that, virtualized it, and stuck this big monolithic thing into the cloud, or you use cloud native services. You use the equivalent services within the cloud, which are broken up. So you started by saying, yeah, there's a different management framework per cloud. It's worse than that. There are 7, 8, 9, 10, sometimes 15 different services, networking services, observability services, logging services, that you as an enterprise have to string together per cloud, and then they're all different per cloud as well. So it's no surprise that the complexity is way up versus what people were used to in their in their traditional data centers, their pre-cloud data centers. Because at least in those data centers, you standardize on a vendor. You had Checkpoint as your firewall vendor across all your data centers everywhere in the world. You now have got those plus a whole host of different technologies per cloud. And Aviatrix solves that for enterprises and customers. And with the continued evolution of Gen AI, the much more aggressive and organized cyber activity now happening with nation states as well as with organized criminal activities, you create that, you admit that there is a super complex landscape as you started, the need to relook at your cloud architecture in combination with the rest of your data center architectures, and really take a step back and understand what is the appropriate architecture that simplifies my operations, provides significantly more visibility, creates consistency across all the regions within one cloud vendor, and certainly across the multiple cloud vendors you're dealing with. It's a wonderful opportunity for enterprises to really take a step back, and I feel like Aviatrix is at a great point, given our evolution as a company and the maturity of our offering to really help enterprises with that. The core question you started with is, all right, why channel? Like, what's going on with Aviatrix and why channel now? We have shifted our the way that we're communicating our offerings from trying to convince organizations to adopt this really thorough, really complex, very different software-defined networking platform in totality within the cloud. That's a big ask for these enterprises to taking that same platform, but dividing it down into, segregate it down into distinct insertion points within the cloud, distinct use cases within the cloud. So two great examples. How do you have reliable, performant, fully encrypted, software-based connectivity from all your data centers and your edge locations to the cloud? We've got a very unique offering there. That's a great contained insertion point for Aviatrix that's going to bring the power of our routing and our firewalling and our NATing and to that equation in one fell swoop, as well as observability and our new Gen AI capabilities. Same thing with making sure that your traffic is secure. Right? The whole point of getting workloads to the cloud is you, one, distribute them, you containerize them in a VPC or a VNet, and then you connect them to the internet. How do you ensure that that internet connection has all the network optimization, simplicity, visibility it needs, but it's also highly secure? That's a massive vulnerability area. That's another packaging of our platform down into a defined insertion point. Insert our gateways into your VPCs that connect to the internet or into the island VPCs that might live within your location so that you can have confidence on the security of your traffic going in and out of that cloud. Those are well tailored for channel partners. We really try to work those insertion use cases backward from channel and try to map them to go-to-market motions, partnerships, divisional structures, P&Ls that partners would understand and associate with. And that was really the instigation of, all right, we've taken a fresh look at our total offering. We've thought through how to bring this offering to market in a little bit more of a bite-sized approach, much more of a land, expand within that use case, and eventually start to populate additional use cases so we can eventually be that single platform for an enterprise within their preferred cloud vendor and across all their secondary, third, and fourth cloud vendors that they operate with. And that gives us the confidence in talking to customers and talking to our many different channel partners that we had worked with in the past, that there was a new opportunity that made this even more compelling and more clear for how this could be of value to channel and the way that they think and they operate.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense, and I love that strategy that you talked about, where I always refer to it as you're selling them the book, but you're delivering the chapter. So let's get started. It might be chapter 1, might be chapter 5, depending on where they are and what their specific needs are. But by breaking up those use cases and having the go-to-market with the channel partners be something that's easily consumable, where you can demonstrate success, and then drive from there to expand to the entire platform that Aviatrix is capable of delivering, will obviously lead to a lot more success and a lot more growth for your channel partners as well.
Agree. Agree. That certainly is the intention.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great. Well, Anne, I want to turn to you because you are the architect of this new program. And so I was hoping we could double click on the program itself and you could highlight maybe some of the key components that will enable Aviatrix to accomplish a lot of those things that Doug just mentioned and benefit your customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wanted to design a partner program that was simple, straightforward, and predictable with those key elements to ensure that our partners was going to be successful and thrive in the program. So just, as Doug talked about, making sure that we're breaking down this book into chapters, I wanted to make sure that we provided a very comprehensive sales and technical enablement track for our partners to be able to do just that, consume, each of these different use cases, learn them, provide an entire sales playbook for them to leverage. And then from there, realize quickly the success for each of these use cases and continue to go back and find a couple of more and so forth. So we do that by providing an entire enablement and training journey that we have built out, along with leveraging our technical sales that we have in place today through our ACE program, which is an industry recognized program with over 23,000 Aviatrix Certified Engineer who is currently certified there. We also have a deal registration process as well. We're offering a very compelling financial incentive program with higher margins and price protection on these deal reg. Now, this was by design, Bob. We want it to be at least 10 to 15 points higher than our competing partner program. We know we're fighting for mind shares with our partner, so we wanted to make sure that we had something compelling to bring forward to them. Also, we've added a three-tier process. By doing so, partners are able to unlock additional benefits as they either achieve net new logos or revenue bands with us. Our partners can tier up monthly. This is another differentiator for our program as well. A lot of programs will have partners tier up on a quarterly basis or even an annual basis. So this way, our partners can continuously maximize profitability while driving exceptional value to our customers. And then the last component to our program would be marketing support. We are offering co-branded assets, templates for our partners to take to market quickly, taking the guesswork out how to repackage and market Aviatrix. We also provide co-sponsor opportunities for our partners to join us in various in-person events, campaigns, webinars. We really wanted to make sure, we're able to help accelerate our partners' growth in our program, Bob.
Yeah, excellent. It sounds like it's really well thought out and very comprehensive and making it as attractive as possible to those channel partners. And it also sounds like it's a bit of an investment for you as well. So, Doug, given the fact that you are making this strategic investment, bringing on a dedicated head of channel team, doing these MDF activities, doing the training activities, why did you feel it was the right time now to really upgrade the channel program?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of different elements here. One, if we go back historically and look at different segments, networking as an example or security as an example, it's hard to identify technology companies, vendors and providers that have been highly successful without being channel led for a good reason. As the companies, the enterprises built up their data centers in the 90s and 2000s, the prime ally in getting that done, trusted partner, was often these channel partners. And we saw the channel grow from a reasonable size set of organizations to much, much bigger as that build out occurred. And so I just reflect back on my experience through 30 years of being in tech. There's a lot of different viewpoints on how powerful and valuable partners can be. I've always been on the side of we are, no matter what I've been offering or been part of a company that's offering in the market, we are always just a portion of the entire ecosystem that's necessary to make that offering successful. Whether it's in the application space, the data space, down in the networking space, or the core infrastructure space. Organizations have got highly heterogeneous environments, and there's many different parties that need to be brought to the fold to make that offering successful for the customer, and therefore you've got to be ecosystem first. So the ethos of both me and the entire executive team is to be to drive success for our customers, we have to be all in on the partner landscape. And you'll see that, as Anne said, across the board. Our CMO is really focusing the bulk of his event dollars to be partner-oriented event dollars. We want to have events to be able to reach customers. We want partners there with us for those events. Our CRO is really focused on trying to make as much of our overall opportunity and close capability in FY26, which for us starts February 1st, to be channel-led. The lofty target is 100% of all deals come in with a channel partner. So the orientation across the company is you're only as strong as your network, and we have to invest in and put top of mind in all of our activities the partner ecosystem, and make sure that across the organization, all the individuals are thinking partner. How do I approach partners effectively? What's it going to take to make partners successful? Because ultimately that set of motions is what makes our customers successful, which is obviously the bread and butter of why we'd exist at all, is to serve these customers.
Well, I think that's great, and I'm sure that was music to your ears of all your partners who are listening to this, knowing that you are going to be partner-centric. And I also loved the comment you were making about the ecosystem. I've talked about this as well, right? Modern IT really takes an ecosystem, or requires an ecosystem, and a lot of times it's those channel partners who are bringing that all together to provide that complete end-to-end solution for those organizations. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how they respond as well. And I know you're also a big believer in Better Together and have implemented a Better Together model for this channel partner program. So I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about how that's manifested and the value it brings to both your customers and your partners as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, at the core of every successful partnership is collaboration. We do view our partners as an extension of Aviatrix. So by working together with our partners or our customer, greater success can be achieved, new opportunities unlocked while addressing critical business needs for our customers. So alignment of strengths, sharing of knowledge, and embracing innovation just help build, not just solutions, but also very lasting impacts as well. Collaboration leads to further progress, stronger growth relationships, and just a better future, like together all around. This way, through the program, as you could see, for every assets, every marketing event, we're always thinking of partners first. To Doug's point, we are Aviatrix is channel first. We're making sure that every single employee is aware of that, and making sure that our partners are top of mind.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. And so that brings up a question I wanted to ask you, Doug, about, clearly you've both stated that on day one of this program, you are deeply committed to working with your partners, being engaged with them, and so forth. How do you, as you move forward, as you get closer to day 180, how do you ensure that continued engagement and the loyalty from your partners going forward?
The approach that Anne is driving is I'm very excited about, and it's something that is difficult to implement, and I've tried to implement it at multiple different companies, which is everything has got to start partner back. So this is not an attempt to go out and secure thousands of partners in the next year. We're being very targeted and selective based on our ideal customer profile, the different use cases and offerings that we have. And our goal is to make sure, as we align with the partner, that we're both very, very clear on what is the business case over 3 to 5 years of engaging with us. I've seen through the years that unless you can, one, identify the division that really understands your offering and is able to represent your offering effectively, and if you can't move up the stack in revenue contribution and profitability within that category to become a material portion of the P&L for that category, then it's difficult to get that really strategic orientation, strategic partnership. So this is not let's just launch it and do as much volume as we can in 180 days. This is really how do we make sure that as we both are selective, the partner channel and us, on coming together and forming the right multi-year horizon with these organizations, that we continue to invest in those partners and work together to have them achieve their goals on overall profitability and revenue contribution. That more paced approach, I think, works much better than trying to peanut butter and have many, many partners in a region, but none of them really performing at the level they need to, so that they get the payback that they should be getting from the investments they're making around a new entity like Aviatrix.
Excellent. I like it. So being a lot more selective, choosing the quality over quantity, and making sure that everyone's going to be successful. That makes a lot of sense, and especially for the partners who are coming on board, they're going to love to hear that.
The Jerry Maguire program: less clients, more time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know this is just rolling out, but that's really not going to stop me from asking, what does the future hold for this? Where do you see this? I know we've just talked about the quality over quantity and so forth, and working closely to make sure they're successful and so forth. Can you point to anything that the future might hold for this program? What partners can expect from the program moving forward?
That's a great question, Bob. We're going to continue to make improvements with the program and add additional benefits. And that's going to come through getting feedback from our partners. What else do they need to be successful? What else will they need to support their customers out there? So that's going to be a big focus in the next 12 months here. But we're also looking to add additional programs as well. MSP programs. I know this is kind of like the next wave here from a channel industry perspective. But what we don't want to do is add too many things on our plate and kind of like lose focus on the current program that we have and make that super successful before adding any additional offerings there. But we want to make sure that any offerings that we do add is going to be complementary to our existing customer. So not cannibalizing opportunities for them. And that's really important.
Awesome.
So
Sorry,
go ahead.
Yeah.
No, staying super focused.
Yep. No, that sounds great, Anne. And I think it sounds like you're going to be on the road a lot, talking to your partners, helping to evolve and modify and fine tune the program as they go to make sure it's mutually beneficial for both of you. So that sounds great. It's glad to hear that it's not a fixed set program, but more of a living, breathing program that's going to adapt and evolve over time. All right, Doug, we're getting low on time here, so I'm going to give you the last word. We've gone through, we've talked about the company, we've talked about the environment that organizations are in right now, and why the Aviatrix solution is, really required for today's modern environments. What would you be telling a prospective partner on why they should sign up as an Aviatrix partner?
So I'll go back to the opening statements, Bob, that the complexities that organizations are facing today are through the roof. But if you look at the size of spend, whether we like it or not, we've got a lot of packet data and deep data on our customers and the environments. The average monthly CSP bill is still 10 to 15% dedicated to networking spend. So the total addressable market that we are selling into is over $30 billion in size. And that $30 billion is not very effectively achieving the goals for these organizations, going back to how we started this conversation. So there's this massive, massive market that's generally relatively inefficient and not as effective as it needs to be for customers. So no shortage of opportunity and a growing awareness, thanks to folks like you, on, hey, this is really important. You have to pay attention here if you really want the type of a customer experience for your own customers and the security and resiliency that you need as a business that your customers are going to demand. To complement that, we, as Anne has talked through, we try to create a really lucrative program, extremely partner focused, very, very nice margins, high margins, lots of avenues to continue to earn more money, lots of investments from us. So for most of these partners, it's actually virgin money for them in this area. There's not been a lot of these programs or opportunities, given that the majority of customers are using the cloud native networking services, the whole lineup and litany of services. So it's a great opportunity to help customers with a critical need on multiple different dimensions, save those customers money while you increase their security, and create a very compelling both size of revenue and profitability and your own company margin opportunity for the partners that engage with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like a great opportunity for the partners. And I'll just add to those partners that are watching, I've had the opportunity to speak to a lot of the Aviatrix customers themselves. and understand the value. And I can tell you it is real. Those organizations that are dealing with multi-cloud environments, the ability to rapidly spin up connectivity and add new connectivity, add new applications to multiple different cloud environments is real, and organizations are getting a lot of value for it. So this is a great opportunity for those organizations who are looking to augment their existing services, especially for their customers who are going to multiple different clouds and have those highly distributed environments, to be able to deliver additional value to their customers and become more of a strategic partner for their own customers. Well, that's all the time that we have today, but I want to thank Doug and Anne for joining me today.
We really appreciate the time and the partnership, Bob.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Bob.
Absolutely, you're very welcome. And I want to thank all of you for watching this CUBE conversation on Aviatrix new channel program. For more details on this new partner program, please visit the Aviatrix website.